Okay, so going over the chart that you guys did on 267, we're going to go through. I'm going to ask for each thing. We're going to say it out loud. We're going to make sure that we all got the right answer, because you guys are going to need to be able to know these words and be able to like have a functioning knowledge of these words, not just remember them for this and then forget them. Like your junior year when you guys are in my advanced livestock science class and we're talking about gilts, the goal is that you'll say, oh my gosh, what's a gilt, right? Is that we know them and we can kind of continue with that. So cattle, I'll get on the line, you guys tell me what it is. A intact male. Bull. Castrated male.
Steer.
What does castrated mean?
No.
Means it does not have any testicles. It has no reproductive organs. So a bull, a steer, a fresh female, a female that hasn't had any babies.
My worst
Heifer. Okay.
Yes,
There was
a total B word.
there was a trend.
That's what you're trying to know.
There was a trend a couple of years ago where everyone would say, "Oh, you stinking heifer," and they were calling each other heifers. And I was like, "You do realize that you are calling everybody a unbred female cow, right?" And they're like, "What?" I said, "What do you think that works from?" A mature female. A cow.
Yep.
A baby.
Calf.
Meat from that animal.
Beef.
It's called
Delicious.
beef or delicious, either one. Fun fact also, the meat from a calf, so in some countries they will actually slaughter cows as babies, so when they're only like a month or two old, and the meat is really, really tender and it has a really expressed taste to it, so that's called veal. If you guys have ever heard of veal or seen that on like a menu or anything like that, or heard people talk about like, oh, we're having veal tonight, if you ever hear the word veal, that is baby cow.
I'm never gonna eat veal.
I'm so mad.
She'll be like older traveling. Someone be like,
She said,
hey,
I'm so mad.
she'll be like, she'll ask what they serve, and they'll be like, oh, we serve veal. And she'll like, it'll just hit her and be like, that's a baby cow.
She's gonna go to a foreign country and that's gonna be their delicacy, and she's gonna be so like,
She'll start crying in the restaurant. And be like, what is wrong with her?
a group of cattle is called a what? A herd. And then the birthing process, when a cow gives birth, it's called calving. Okay. I want to tell you all this. How many of you have ever driven past a pasture or a field that had a whole bunch of animals out in it and said, wow, look at all those cows? Maybe a paraphrase version of that. It doesn't have to be exactly, wow, look at all those cows. Or you've looked and been like, wow, look at those cows. Or like, wow, look at, there's cows.
When I first went to the farm,
Yeah.
I used to work at, I was like, holy crap, because it was like really sunny out and they had all the cows out, and there's like freaking like lower, like there's like 6 pastures and it was like all filled with cows. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then after I worked there, I know which one was.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Do you
like,
guys,
they put like certain ones.
yeah, they have them rotated together. Do you guys want to hear something that's going to blow your mind?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. That's gonna take a while.
If you have ever driven past a pasture or seen a pasture and said, look at those cows, or look at those cows in the barn, that is very rude of you. You are assuming their gender. And also, you're probably incorrect, because some of those cattle in that pasture might be steers or bulls or heifers. Because a cow, technically, when you're little and they say, what goes moo? And you say, a cow. Technically, you're wrong, because cows do moo, right? But cows is a very specific term to only a female that has had a baby.
So we're sexist.
Yes. There was something, actually, I'll say this, there was something on TikTok the other day, and it was like, it had a milk bottle that was like from this organic milk farm, and it said, it was like this big thing about like how rude or how like biased of this company, whatever, because it had on the side of the bottle, like part of their packaging was that it said this milk was produced from, and it had like the names of the cows, because it was a really small dairy, so they only had like 10 cows anyways, right? So it had like Bonnie and like Connie, well, those rhyme. That wasn't on purpose, but it was like Betsy, like all this other stuff like that, right? And it was like, how rude of them to only pick old lady names for all these cows. Like, what if there were boys in the herd? And somebody commented on it, and it was like, a cow is literally a female producing cattle. Like, that is a very specific like gender term. Like, it is not an overarching term. So next time you drive past a pasture and you're like, wow, look at all those animals, you should say, wow, look at all those cattle. Or, wow, look at that herd. So if you say, wow, look at all those cows, that could be
I
incorrect.
used to say that all the
Look at
time.
all
You can't see their vulva from the car.
Okay,
Okay, you don't know if it's a cow. Hmm?
Look at all that beef.
Yes, look, only, but what if it's a dairy? You gotta be sure that it's
Look
not
at
dairy
all
cow.
that milk and beef.
Yeah.
Look at all that.
Look at all that food.
You can't see their vulva from the car. You don't know if they're a girl or boy.
No, or you can say, look at all those bulls, steer, heifers, cows, calves, any of the above.
Yeah.
This wallet. Can I put some
Or just
water in
don't
my
say
wallet?
Not right
anything
now.
at all.
Give me a
so
minute.
you gotta worry about
Okay. Hogs.
Boar.
A boar is an intact male, right? So, hey.
Princess Game has to go to the restroom.
She's a big girl. She can go to the bathroom.
Why do we just like walk out and you be like,
Fine.
alright.
Hog's intact male is called a boar. A castrated male is called what?
A barrow.
Barrow. Fresh female is called
No.
it. A guilt.
I bet.
Whoops, I looked at the wrong one.
I was gonna say, yes. So a fresh and unbred female pig is called a gilt, G-I-L-T. So if you ever go to a fair, Morrow County shows by breed, so you don't necessarily see it so much there unless you hear the judge talk about it. But a gilt and a barrow, if you ever go to another county fair, a lot of counties show by males and females, not by breed. So they'll have like a gilt show and a barrow show. You know that. Mature female is called what? A sow? Baby? The meat? Pork? Also delicious. Did you just write delicious across that whole line? A group of hogs is called what?
Swine.
So swine is like the technical name for hogs, pigs, and swine all mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Swine to pigs is like bovine to cattle. Okay, bovine is like the technical name for cattle. Swine is like the technical name for
That's why when
Hogs.
you drive past a big farm, I always say it's a swine.
what is a group of hogs called? So what'd you say?
I've heard 1,000 different things
Is it a
everywhere.
password?
Wait, what? Has anyone said it?
A bunch of
A couple. It is called a drove. Yes, D-R-O-V-E. A group of hogs is called a drove.
Yeah. So I said
What is the birthing process?
farrowing.
Farrowing, right? F-A-R-R-O-W-I-N-G. So the process of having piglets being born, if you say instead of a female, a sow is giving birth, you say a sow is farrowing. And there's such a thing called farrowing crates, which you put a sow in. It's not like a box crate, but it's just like metal thing. And you put the sow in it before she gives birth, about 2 weeks before she's scheduled to give birth. And hogs really often can like bite at or lay down on their babies. So the farrowing crate protects the babies from the sow accidentally laying on them while they're still really young. Goats. Male is called what? You already have all the right answer because I know what book you took those out of. So.
No, I did not. No, I did not.
Why do you have 2 books on your desk?
Because I was using it for. I just got this. I swear. And you can't even read me his handwriting.
All right. A male is called what? A billy or a buck. So a buck is the more technical term. A billy is kind of like a slang term, right?
Basically like deer.
Yes, they are a lot like deer. A castrated male is called what?
the weather.
A wether, but it's spelled W-E-T-H-E-R. Not like, wow, how nice is the weather? Or like,
Look,
I don't know whether or not I'm gonna go do it. A weather.
Can you read that?
A weather, W-E-T-H-E-R, is like the castrated male. So it's kind of like there, and there. Just weather.
And it looks like she wrote B-C-C-K.
Okay.
Wither.
Focus right here, please.
A wither.
Fresh female goat is called what?
No.
A doe. A mature female is called, it could be a doe or a nanny. So again, doe is the technical term. Nanny is kind of more of like a slang word, like a nanny goat. Also, you could call a young, fresh female a nanny doe, or not a nanny doe, a yearling doe. Sometimes they'll just refer to them as yearlings. A baby goat is called a what?
Kid.
It's kid. Oh, I could say wow, I have a lot of kids. And you'd be like, you had a kid? And I'd be like, yeah, look at my goat.
You just
No.
You've been asking me to have a kid. I'm gonna get a baby goat.
After
But
kids,
you
then
didn't
just
have
came
it.
back into boyfriend.
You didn't tell me I had to give birth to it.
Listen,
Yeah,
You just
but
said
you
we
don't
want you to have a kid.
Give birth to a kid.
Don't.
That's weird.
Okay,
They
just
will
don't pop
ruin
out
your
of
life.
jokes because it's gonna be like something.
The meat is called what?
Goat meat.
And sometimes it can be called like a chevron. Most of the time it really is literally just called goat meat. It's just called goats.
They didn't tell me what it was.
Sometimes no, you can look at this really quick, thanks. Alright. Sometimes it is called, this is pronounced euro. Okay, a euro is the type of money they use in Europe. A euro is also how you pronounce G-Y-R-O. Okay. A euro is a Greek food that you guys have probably had at the fair or something. It's kind of like a taco, but with like pita bread.
I thought it was made out of lamb meat, not goat meat.
It is usually made out of either goat or lamb. Originally, it's usually like, I'm pretty sure in Greece they're using goat meat more often than not. Here you're either getting goat or lamb. I will say lamb has a little bit more of like a gamier taste when you eat it. It just has a different kind of like tang to it. So I don't know how well you can tell the difference between goat and lamb, but it's usually used out of one or the other. A group of goats is called what?
A trip.
A tribe or a trip? Okay. Yeah. Find your tribe. Love them hard. Arrow. Instagram caption, right?
Yeah.
So next time you go to a petting zoo and there's a bunch of goats, you can be like, find your tribe and love them hard. Haha, just kidding. That's good. Get it? I'm hitting you with all the Instagram captions. You heard that? No kidding.
Hold down.
But like heard like H-E-R-D, like next time you're with cows, that's your Instagram caption. Heard that?
Oh my
I'm getting
god.
too excited. It's a birthday.
Martinez finally caught you.
Ag puns. And giving birth to cows or to goats is called what? Kidding. Ha, just kidding. Bless you.
Just kidding.
Bless you.
Just kidding.
Where's a goat giving birth? I don't see it. In just a minute, please. Can you wait? Sheep. An intact male is called what?
Ram.
A ram. A castrated male is called what?
Whatever.
A wether. Sheep and goats are a lot alike in a lot of ways. That's why a lot of the times they're in the same barns at fairs and stuff like that. A fresh female is called what?
Ewe.
Alright, so it is spelled like this.
Ewu.
Okay. It is pronounced you.
Ewe. That is sad.
You.
You lamb.
You.
You?
So you'd be like, next time you're in a barn full of sheep, be like, you rock. Hey, you. But spell it like that.
That's a.
I'm gonna cry.
They're so good.
That
You guys-
sounds like an offense for
I'm gonna name my kid you. That kid's gonna get bullied so much. I hope she's a redhead too, or he.
They're gonna
Short
hate you.
redhead. That kid will never. that
Named
kid won't
you?
make it past his teenage
Alright,
years.
what you gotta say now is.
So a fresh female, listen please, a fresh female is called, a lot of times they'll just call it like a yearling ewe, and then a mature female is also called a mew. Or not a mew,
She
a ewe.
gonna name her chicken you.
Ha,
You.
close on it. So a fresh female would be a yearling ewe, or a mature female would just be a ewe. A baby is called what?
A lamb.
A lamb. The meat from sheep is called what?
Lamb.
So, facts for you here. Most of the time, the meat that you are going to eat, if you are eating a sheep, put your foot down, please, and pay attention to me. The meat that you are going to eat, if you are eating a sheep, is called lamb. Okay.
Yeah.
If an animal is raised to market weight, so they're born, raised for, in a lamb's case, about 6 months. Okay. A lamb at market weight is about 180 pounds, give or take. A hog at market weight is about 250 pounds, about 6 months. Okay. A steer is about 1,100 pounds, about a year old. Okay.
Have you ever
They're
ate a
slaughtered.
horse?
500.
So, a sheep, if you eat that, more often than not, lambs that are raised for market are going to be sold at market weight when they're about 6 months old. Okay. And then they're processed and you're eating lamb. If we're talking about mutton, okay, so mutton is correct. Mutton is sheep meat, okay, but mutton
Is older.
Mutton is the sheep from an older, or is the meat from an older sheep. You're very right. So basically, if I have a breeding ewe, okay, and I'm gonna keep her around. Pay attention. If I have a breeding ewe and I'm gonna keep her around, and like have her give a couple different sets of babies, whatever the case may be. And then when she gets to the point where she's too old to breed, I'm going to take her to slaughter because what else am I going to do? Yeah, but then you don't get it out of it. At least this way, like, you get a little payoff.
I mean, if you get it right up the thighs, I mean,
But you don't make any money off of it. If you're going to die in 3 days anyways, might as well take her to slaughter and get a paycheck off her. So if you kill an older sheep, one that is past its prime of market age, that's called mutton. It's going to have a much gamier taste and it's going to be a little bit tougher. But that is kind of like a delicacy in a lot of areas. A group of sheep is called what? A flock. And a birthing process? Lambing. Horses.
Alright, please use the restroom.
Yes.
Oh, stallion.
Horses. One that is intact is called a stallion. Castrated male,
Gelding.
gelding. A female in general
Mare.
is a mare. Again, you might just say like a yearling mare. Baby girl,
Filly.
baby boy,
Foal.
baby in general.
Oh,
Foal.
foal.
A foal, right? So you could call a baby horse and just say there's a foal, okay? If it's a girl, you call it a filly. If it's a boy, you call it a colt. Okay. The birthing process then is called what?
Foaling.
Foaling. And the group of them is
Herd.
a herd or a team.
Yeah.
Be a team of horses too. We grade that out. Technically in the United States, it is illegal to slaughter horses. It is illegal to slaughter horses for meat because a lot of the times they would make meat, right? But a lot of the times, one, it's not going to be enjoyable to eat because it's going to be really tough because horses are more like athletes, okay? So they're going to have really, really firm muscles, so the meat's going to be really tough. It's not going to have a lot of like fat and stuff like that in it, which is what makes your pork and lamb and steak and stuff taste good. The other thing is that horses a lot of the times will get like cortisone shots and some other things like that to help if they have like a sore foot or something along those lines, or just like the way that our athlete, like NFL players, get cortisone shots in their knees and stuff like that every now and then. Horses get similar athletic treatment. And a lot of the times on those types of shots, we don't honor what's called a withdrawal time, or we don't even really like log a withdrawal time, which we'll learn about next week. And so basically it's really possible that if you did slaughter a horse, it would be slaughtered with some type of medication inside in it, like, right, like it hasn't worked its way out of the body yet. So there's a better chance of horse meat being unsafe to eat because it's not really regulated as much as. But a lot of the times people, if you talk to Sage Wetnall, she wrote her prepared public speaking speech on that this year. And a lot of the times people will still buy them from, like, kill buyers will buy them from auctions and ship them to Mexico and slaughter them.
Why?
How long has it been illegal to butcher?
Not a super long time because Hoffman's opened as a horse slaughter plant.
I was gonna say my dad used to work at a butcher house for almost 20
They got
years, and
some
they were
slaughter
owned by a
horses
Chinese
myself.
company, and they do a lot of
Horse
horses.
Yeah.
meat usually goes to dog food though.
Or glue.
Depends, yeah. They
Yeah,
like
horses get turned into glue.
most of the meat they get off of them, they blue them.
I haven't seen Hoffman slaughter at horse.
They can't anymore because it's illegal in the United States. But
Then how do we get blue?
it's illegal to slaughter horses for meat.
Kind of like it's illegal.
We can
to
still
distribute
process them.
deer meat.
Well, thank gosh
for sale.
Hoffmans don't slaughter horses.
But they opened originally as a horse
You know, someone
slaughter
made a
plant.
music video there.
Yeah.
Jeremy
Yeah, you can't
I
sell
have
it.
to get
You process it. Sell it.
Called what?
Yeah.
EHV.
You can
Is what?
hand it out,
Yeah,
but you
for
can't
horses,
sell it.
like they kill.
Yeah.
And they can like die.
You can give someone.
Is that a
you can't
disease?
sell it.
Hey guys, you're not listening to.
It's like, I don't know how to say it.
Nina posted on her story.
Yeah, I've heard that there's like an outbreak or something.
There could have been.
And it like makes them, it's like a neurological thing. It like messes with their back legs and they can't like stand.
Huh. I haven't heard about that, but that might be like a hot topic, like a new thing that's going around horses. I don't know. Is that what it says? It's just literally like it's starting to go around, like if there's an outbreak.
I can show you.
Zombie apocalypse. The Walking Dead.
Chickens, really quick.
Rooster.
Male is called a rooster, a mature male. So with chickens, you don't really castrate them, right? Because that would be a very finicky process and it's very small. So it would be very hard. But a chicken, a male chicken that is not mature enough yet to breed, okay? A chicken that is not yet mature enough to breed is called a cockerel.
That's not, I literally put
Okay.
that down.
So cockerel is the young male. A young female is called
Well,
a pullet. All right. So if you go to Myers Hatchery and you say, I want some pullets, they're going to give you baby female chickens, and they're a pullet when they're still too immature to lay eggs. So once they mature enough to lay eggs, then they're called a hen. Okay. So usually they're about 4 or 6 months old before they start being able to actually lay eggs. Okay. A baby is called what? A chick. The meat is called chicken, right? Turkey, if it's from a turkey. Poultry is kind of a general word for like bird animals. So it's like the poultry barn because there can be quail and stuff like that in there too. A group of chickens is called a flock, or if it is a group of hens, they are called a brood. Okay, and the birthing process is called what? They hatch. It can just be hatching. There is pipping is also like a term for it. Hatching is obviously that's what most people say, like, oh, the eggs are hatching. So yeah. Can you give me just a second, please?
Oh my gosh.
All right. Any questions about the stuff that we talked